Hello, my name is Samantha Bell. I am the scheduling and support coordinator for the Excel Centers of Michiana currently. I just wanted to start giving an overview of Synergy. Synergy is our way of keeping track of our students, keeping track of grades, keeping track of, well, everything that we end up doing for the Excel Centers. So what I'm first going to show you is just the basics. So you go up to the URL. This is how you get to our site in particular. You log in with a username and password. And these are all assigned by your scheduling and support coordinator. So we log in. It's going to take you straight to the home page. You'll notice a few different things. Pay attention to this quick launch. This quick launch is how you get to and from various places in Synergy. Up in the right-hand corner is our focus. Changing your focus is pretty essential for most of the jobs in the Excel Centers, but specifically for coaches and any admin. So we can change the year, we can change the organization, especially if you're going in between the various schools. And then you can also show active, inactive, or both. Active students are, well, their name appears normal. Our inactive students will have parentheses around them. So perhaps the most important place for everyone to know is student. So we go up to quick launch, we type in student, brings up this page. You'll notice that there are a bunch of different tabs. Most of these are not going to apply for most people. However, the demographics page, pretty much anyone is going to need to know. At the top will always be the student's last name, first name, and all the rest of this information. But first and last name is probably the most important. Below will be a bunch of different things that, depending on where you are in the organization, you might not have access to. Coaches will need access to email, home address, and phone numbers, at the very least, because these can change at more or less any point. Parent and guardian, we don't deal with, because we deal with students. We deal with adults. We don't deal with children. Other info, the only thing that you might want to know is this counselor name. This counselor name is where you can put in who the life coach is. So counselor name equals life coach. Okay? Emergency you can use if you want, but it's not mandatory. We go over to classes. This is where we put in classes for each of our students. I can't show you a student, so I'll have to make some screenshots to share later, but that's where this information will be, and I'll make another video specifically on how to schedule students in Synergy. Next is this documents page. There are lots of different categories for documents, and there could be more in the future. Some of the more important ones are FERPA. If FERPA is not in the system, we can't talk to a certain person. So FERPA is our release of information. Students can sign it on their own. It can be revoked at any time. It just gives us permission to tell mom and dad that, yeah, so-and-so is here. Or a friend is coming to pick them up. Hey, can you go get so-and-so? I'm here to pick them up. I can't tell you if they're here or not. I can't tell you any of that information. So that's really important. Some other important ones are, I'm looking, CTFs. I'll do another YouTube video on this, but CTFs go in here. IEPs can go in here, but life coaches don't deal with that. That would be the teacher of record, or the TOR. Residency goes in here, mainly that falls on the job of of office managers, but it's good to know if it is in here. Some other ones. Test outs and transcripts go in here as well. Those can be important depending on how your school in particular is run. And then the last one I think is withdrawal forms. Those are submitted by the coach and uploaded here. The contact log is going to be the next one. The contact log is anytime you have a significant or some important conversation with a student, it should go in here. There are various interactions. Most of them are probably going to be regular check-ins, but it's good to look through and know that there are other options and that this might expand at some point in the future. Excel and orientation. This is all the office manager's job. Perhaps the most important thing to know is this transcript status. You'll notice that it says requested, received by MOA, received by registrar's office, 0 credits, all credits entered, and attempted but cannot obtain. So this helps when we're trying to figure out what grades or what credits that somebody already has. If they're requested, that means that the office manager is already in the process of trying to get them. Received by MOA, we do not use, but received by the registrar's office, that means that our registrar has them and it still just hasn't put them into the system yet. 0 credits, just like it says, means that the student has 0 credits. All credits entered means that the registrar has received it and has put it in the system. And then attempted but cannot obtain is exactly what it says. Attempted but cannot obtain. Alumni info, I will do another YouTube video on this in particular, so don't worry about it too much right now, but we are trying to keep track of our alumni for various data polls, as well as it's just good to know where your alumni are. And then that's really the hot topics on student IN. Talking about transcripts, if we go to the student course history, we can look at the student and everything will be laid out here. Every single class that they've had, when they took it, what grade they got, and technically how many credits, but we usually go by 1 anyway, so it's not a big deal. It'll be laid out in a table format. But if you push menu, and of course I don't have a student, so I can't show you right now, but if you push menu, there'll be something that says print out transcript or something along those lines, and it says Excel Center transcript. That's the one that you want to push. That will create it into a print out version that's a little easier to read. Other than that, the other thing that you might want to know about is the student career plan. Oops. This is how we keep track of box number 3. Box number 3 is a set of acceptable how do I put this? It's a set of acceptable documents and projects, not documents and projects, my goodness, acceptable tests, some way of showing that the student is capable of moving out of high school. Normally in traditional schools, that was the I-STEP or the SAT or the ACT. I-STEP is being phased out. ASVAB has kind of replaced it in the meantime. If that is updated, I will make sure to add something to this video that will pop up right now in regards to what has changed. However, for the Excel Centers in Michiana, we require each and every one of our students to either have one dual credit or a certification. And that's where these go, in the documents. So you'll notice in the category, there's a bunch of different certifications. Those will go here. As far as the dual credit, that already goes under the classes, so you don't really need to worry about it in that case. But at least here we have ASVAB results. ASVAB results, since that's what we're using right now, that's important if a student chooses to go the dual credit route. If they do one dual credit, then they haven't checked off box 3. You need 3. So if they've done one, we can get around that by doing ASVAB. And if they pass, they get a certain score, then they're all set. They're ready to graduate, assuming they've already taken their other classes. And then we can also make sure to check these to keep track of which one they've done. That way, anyone that comes to this page knows exactly what the student has done and is ready for. So last thing I want to point out is that all of these fields are used to locate an individual student. However, if you put asterisks in to whatever field you want to know, for example, if I just wanted to figure out the documents for any student, I wanted a list, I can just put in those asterisks, push enter, or push this blue find button, and then it'll be all set. And that's the very, very basic tutorial of how to navigate Synergy. I hope you've learned something. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions. See you in the next one.